BrightSpace and our course for probability and statistics. This video is for both the in-classroom as well as online. So different parts of the video will pertain to your class and some will not. So I will try to point out the differences, but basically most of the time the course is exactly the same. So when you log into your course on BrightSpace, you'll come to the home page where you have a welcome announcement. So the first announcement is the welcome announcement, which is the same as the email I sent you in the welcome email. And I'll try to post some announcements in here just to make sure that we're all staying on good pace with the course and allowing you to get information, especially for my online course. For in classroom, I probably won't post that many announcements, but for online, I may post more. Over here on the calendar, we'll have clickable links to take you to assignments and work that is due throughout the course. All right, so that is one way to get to it. Then I would recommend that most of the time you spend in content. All right, so when you first come into content, the first thing you will see is our syllabus. All right, so it goes through just like every other standard syllabus in CMCC. Has our grade description, course work. So for ours, we have class attendance, homework, 2 tests, and a project is broken down into 3 parts. We'll talk about all of these in more detail. This is for the in-class classroom. Online, you will have homework, and instead of a project, you will have quizzes. So that's where kind of the difference is. In class, we do projects. Online, I give you quizzes. So there's where the difference is. So when you're watching the video later on Pearson, you see quizzes. If you're online, those pertain to you. If you're in class, that does not pertain to you. Coming down, I have our outline. Now, I have it broken down like we meet twice a week to try to help you spread out the workload. All right, so if you kind of follow this format, it will help you. Excuse me, sorry. It'll help you kind of keep pace with the course, not get overwhelmed. These are not actual due dates, but they are kind of if we were meeting in the classroom when we would do things, so it kind of help you keep pace. If you want to print or download it, you can scroll all the way to the bottom, and there is the print and download for the syllabus. Next is I don't go over course schedule, that's the calendar thing. Table of contents is showing all of the stuff below it, but I would recommend that you go to each module individually. So first we have our resources module. These are additional resources to help you with the course. I have my lecture notes on Microsoft OneNote, which is part of the Microsoft 365. Everyone has it, but you click on this link, it'll take you to my lecture notes. Then we have 135 statistics videos I've created for on YouTube to try to help you. And if our class has Zoom meetings that we posted here, for these Zoom meetings are optional. If there's none listed, then we don't have any Zoom meetings. But if your course has a Zoom meeting link, then we have optional Zoom meetings. You can click on it there. You can also click under communications, which breaks it down when we meet individually. So I recommend you go through communications, click on the Zoom meeting link there, because then you can actually start the meeting and see when they are. Then I have the course broken down into 4 blocks. So block 1 begins August 31st. And you can see block 1 covers chapters 1, 2, and 3. And below that is kind of things that you need to read or do. So first thing, we have a welcome quiz. The quiz just basically is a quiz over this video and the syllabus. 5 questions. You can do as much as you want, but you must do it before Friday. Therefore, because I'm going to use it to take attendance, basically. It's no math, just a quiz on like what our course is, so then make sure everybody's kind of tracking. Then we have optional discussion. There is no graded discussions for this course, but I put something in here in case you want to ask questions, make comments, versus emailing me. I prefer you use the discussion because this allows me and your classmates, so your classmates and I, to go through and answer questions and post comments or concerns so everybody can see them. So this is how we kind of all learn together versus emailing me which is fine. I'm not saying you can't email me, but I'd rather have you email me personal things. General course stuff, please post in the discussion. That way we all can learn together. Homework problems from the book and homework 1 out of my stat lab. So you have a preference of which one that you do. So you can, and this is from my in-class classroom. If you're online, then all the homework will be on Pearson. But in classroom, I give you 2 options. So if you rather do problems out of the book, click on this and it opens up the Word document that you can download for problems to do. If you prefer to do them on Pearson, then click on this and it will take you to Pearson. I will go in later and talk about how to use Pearson, but this is a direct link to Pearson. So when you click on homework 1, my stat lab assignment, it'll take you into Pearson. So if you use Pearson before in other classes, you want to go through BrightSpace. Do not create a Pearson account and do it like you used to do. Now you access everything through BrightSpace. So you will click on this. I'll show you so you can see that yours is doing the same thing as mine. It will open up, depending on how fast your internet is. Mine's still thinking. But this is how you'll get right into Pearson, and it'll take you right to the homework. And you can still get into Pearson and have all the other resources like I'll talk in the video, but this will show you the actual homework problems, hopefully. I don't know why it is not loading. There we go, finally. And so you can see the homework questions, right? And then you just click on them and begin. And then later on in the video, I'm going to go a little bit more into Pearson. So we go back to content. So again, it's your choice. You can do the homework in Pearson, or you can do the homework out of the book. You can do both, and I'll keep the higher grade. That is completely up to you. If you do the homework in Pearson, your grade will be automatically updated on the course. If you do the book problems, you'll upload your homework through the assignments. I will grade it, and then I will update your grades. So that's basically how each block goes. The reason block 1 has more because of the welcome quiz, but it goes through and has all the problems. So as we go through the blocks, just navigate through those, and then project for my in-class group, and then for this semester in the fall, even though it is online, I'm treating it as an in-class class. So if you have a project module, then there is a project for your course. If you do not have a project module, then there is no project for your course. Again, optional discussion to post questions about the project. Here is the project, and I broke it down into 2 parts. So there's a first part that's due, where you have to do your intro and calculations. You upload that, and then we have project 2 paper, where you can submit your final paper with corrections of your introduction. So this will help you build this. So kind of make sure we're going through the semester and getting one final project. So make sure you start on this early. We'll talk more about the project in the classroom or on the Zoom link. What else will I talk about here? I think that's basically it. So again, if you go under assignments, it shows the book problems, your intro to your project paper, again, book problems, book problems, book problems. So if you're doing the book problems, this is where you will upload your homework, right? If you are doing stat lab, then you don't have to worry about any of this besides the project stuff. And it will automatically go to where your grades are, and so there is the grades piece. So this is how we navigate through BrightSpace. About Pearson, though, again, do not register. If you've used Pearson before, don't do the way you used to do it. Use this new student registration attachment that's on the welcome announcement. Your code will come with your book. And you will just register by following these instructions. So you must link the Pearson through your BrightSpace for everything to work. All right, and then in the second part of this video, I will kind of go through how to do homework assignments and navigate Pearson, as well as the quizzes for any of my online courses. All right, please email me if you have any questions. Here you can run a browser check to make sure your computer is running. If it's working in here, I wouldn't worry about it, because sometimes you run that and people get a little frustrated because it says something's bad.
We'll get into homeworks in a minute. You can view all assignments. Your gradebook is where I show you. StatCrunch is a software package that is available through MathLab while you have access to MathLab. You can use either Excel or StatCrunch. I'll kind of try to show both in the videos. The histogram video that's already uploaded is me doing chapter 2 histograms using Excel. I will do a little bit of one today using StatCrunch. E-text is where you can get to your e-text. Chapter contents is probably a good place to start because then you can just kind of go through here. So if I click on chapter 1, it has the 3 sections. It has, I can click do my homework, take my quiz and test, work on a study plan. Study plan is a good place to do practice problems before you get to the homework. It's got videos and helpful links. So you can click on these and then it goes into the sections. You can watch a video presentation, e-text, study plan. So this is where you can kind of get additional help, kind of a classroom invite. These aren't things I've created. These are things that Pearson has created, but they are very helpful. So you can use these. So I'm trying to show you all the resources. So you have the announcements I'm going to post, the videos I'm going to post, stuff through Pearson, the e-text to read. So definitely play around, if you especially get logged in before the class starts. That way you can be comfortable with this MathLab, because the fast pace of the material. I'd use this introductory week off book to kind of get familiar with what you need to do. So, because I'm in chapter 1, so let me go back to main menu because I'm going to go to chapter 2. And assignments. There we go. So you can see this is, I already got week 1's loaded. I'll do the 14th. You got 5 homeworks. Each one has about 5 or 6 problems. It shouldn't take you too long. Typically in a regular college course, you should spend about 9 hours a week doing work. Because we're almost 3 times as fast, you should be 24 to 27 hours. So when you think you spend a lot of time in the course, it's again because we're accelerated. You're doing the course in half the time. So section 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3 homeworks are just definitions. I'd highly encourage you to have your e-text open in another tab. If you don't have the actual book, if you have the book, just have it open. It is literally just going through and finding definitions. So I'm not really going to do any practice of those homeworks because chapter 1 is just kind of overview of the definitions. 2.1 and 2.2 is kind of where we start to get into technology. So you can see C-score. I've already opened some of these and kind of messed around with them a little bit. I'm going to go to this one I've hit redo because I want you to kind of walk through it because it shows how to use some of the options in in the homework. Some of these options will not be available in the quiz. I'll open the quiz just so you can kind of see it. So here is one of the homework problems. Good tool here is Question Helps. You can do Help Me Solve This, which will walk you through how to solve the problem, but it will solve this specific problem. Or you can view an example, which will give you an example of this problem, but not change your problem. So you can do either one. Help Me Solve This will do the problem you see before you, but then you'll have to redo another problem after you finish it. View an example will give you an example of this problem, and then you can work on this problem while looking at the example. I prefer view an example, but it's up to you which one. If there's any kind of video help through Pearson, it's loaded here. This is where you can access the textbook. StatCrunch is very useful. I'll show you different ways to open that. Or if you're really just stuck on a problem, click Ask My Instructor. It will send me an email of the problem you're working on, and I can answer and send back to you how to do that problem. Again, if you're working on the homework and you want to respond quickly, send me a text so I know that I have an email. Just because you send me an text doesn't mean I can get to my email quickly, but it does let me know I need to go to look at it. So for this problem, it has this blue box. So you either will have a big, I call it big because it's bigger than the one we're going to see, a big blue box like this to view data, or you'll have a little blue box right here that doesn't say view data. It'll just be a little blue box. But you open those and you can open the data. So the little blue box I'm talking about is this guy right here. So if I click on this, you can open it in StatCrunch. You can place it to clipboard and then put it into another software package if you don't want to use StatCrunch, or you can open it in Excel. So whichever software you like to use to solve your problems, The software will be open for the quizzes and the final. If it is not, please let me know because I've done something wrong. But I'm not taking the technology away from you. So I'm going to open it in StatCrunch because I already have a video on how to do this in Excel. Move this over. Move this over. And you can access StatCrunch just by itself as well if you go back to where we were in the home screen and you saw where it said StatCrunch. So this wants me to complete a frequency distribution, which is basically a way to say histogram. The thing is 2.2 is actually making histograms. 2.1 is making the table. What I'm going to do, though, because of StatCrunch doesn't have a histogram function under the stat thing, so what I can do is graph. So the two areas you're going to play with most. Stat is where you do your analysis. Graphs are where you make graphs. But in this case, I am going to use the histogram graph to help me manipulate the table. Again, if you watch the Excel file, I show how to do the whole thing with tables and using Excel. All right, so my variable is called var1. See, this is the name, so that's what variable I pick. These are just kind of options. I can do frequency or relative frequency. So frequency counts how often something happens. Relative frequency is the percentage how often that happens. So we're going to go with frequency because the homework is asking for frequency. I'm going to start at the number it gives me, which is 3.47. And I am going to increase by, here it says, a class width, so that's how big my bars are, of 0.10. So 0.10, I don't think I did that right. I think it's a 0.1. Yep, missing a 0. 0.10. All right. Good thing is our stuff is supposed to look normal. Doesn't always have to, but it should. So if you want to kind of put an overlay to see how normal a bell curve looks, so I'm going to put normal on there, just it'll draw a bell curve. So normal is just a bell curve, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we get further in the material. We want things to be normal in this course because a lot of the calculations and formulas we do must be normally distributed. All right, so some of the things in 2.1 and 2.2 are asked, is your histogram bell-shaped? All right, I'm going to put the values above the bar. That's where I'm going to help create this table. If I don't click that, then I'm just going to get a picture and no values. I want the values because I need to build this table. This is where you can kind of label things if you want to, make things all nice and pretty. But for now, we're going to not worry about that until we get into some more graphing later. Because right now I'm just really looking to build a table. So I am going to click Compute. And there is my histogram of my data. You can see, if I had another low one out here, it might have looked a better bell. You know, because values are increasing. I do have a high point and they're starting to decrease on this side. One more would have been really nice, but this is actually not too bad for the small data set we have because we only have, I believe, 30 data points. Yes, 30 screw lengths. So now the numbers above the bars are my frequencies. All right, so if I click on this, I know my lower limits are all these numbers. So I didn't label them because it's not small enough. But still didn't. Yeah, notice they skip bars here, so be careful with that. But if you put your cursor over, you can see that's 3.49. So this means 3.48, 3.49, 3.50. And I should finish with 3.51. Those are, yeah, because 3.52 is the last number and it hasn't created a new bar. All right, so that's where I end. So my frequencies are my numbers above. So 2, 5, 7, 10, 5, 7, 10, and 6. And I'm not going into all the details, so read the announcements where it talks about what things are, read the book and stuff. This is basically, these videos are going to show us how to solve the problems using technology. All right, so here's where I go from 3.47 to 3.48. So I have to jump somewhere. So if I put 3.479, that will be my break-in point when I go up to 3.48. And here, we're in the classroom, I would actually use my fingers. So if you want, you can use yours because you can't see my fingers. But if you start at 3.47 and you count 10 fingers, you're going to end up at 479, or start at just 70 and count up. And 79 is 10 spaces. So 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. That is a class width of the 1 0 in the second decimal place, so that's why that is a 79. But there's a pattern. This becomes 3.489. This becomes 3.499. 3.599 and 3.519. Nope, not 99. That should be 509. There we go. 7989990919. All right, let's see if I actually did this correctly. Perfect. So you'll get a next question if you did it right. All right, if you've done something wrong, so let's see if I go to the next one. I'll get it wrong so you can kind of see what to do here. Oh, so cumulative frequency. So this is the basic of the same thing. Close this. Open this up. Open in StatCrunch. As you can see, again, we're going by tens. So if you come in here and you do graph, because we don't have tables. My frequency, this time I want a relative. Oh no, it wants cumulative frequency. So this one will be a little bit harder in StatCrunch, but we'll kind of talk about it for a minute. Actually, we really don't even need to do any of this, but we'll do it anyway, just so you can get a picture of how to build one of these real quick. I'm going to start at 20, and again, I am counting by 10. Put the values above the bar, click compute. And this one you can see is definitely not bell-shaped. All right, but you can see we get the same. Oh no, something didn't work out right here. Why didn't you do? Oh. Let me try it again. Well, I must have clicked on something wrong. I must have missed something. Graph. Frequency. Start at 20. Group at 10. Values above the bar. Compute. Why is this thing not starting at 20? Okay, what is wrong with this thing? Histogram. My frequency. Oh, because it's not data. You can't do it this way. Yeah, that's why. Helps if I pay attention to what I'm doing. So good to see that I make mistakes as well. Yeah, this is not raw data. This is just how frequent something is. So doing this in StatCrunch doesn't help. You could do it in Excel. Right, so I'll show how to do this one using Excel instead. So now you can see open it in Excel. I like this better with Excel because we're counting. Cumulative frequency, I can shrink this so you can see both, is you're adding these up, right? So you can see here, when I am less than 30, which is between 20 and 29, my frequency is 28. The confusing part is when now I'm less than 40, that also includes the 30. So therefore, I have to add 28 and 34 together, and now give me all the numbers less than 40, right? So you can do this using a calculator, or you can do this using Excel. So in Excel, if I put an equal sign in Excel, it turns it into a calculator. So this first one equals 28. The next one equals the 34. And if you click on the cell, it remembers its number, so I don't have to type it, plus this one above it. So you can see I get 62. So now I type in a 62. And I can keep that pattern going. Equals this number plus the number above it, 74. All right. What you can do in Excel is if you highlight these things and come to the bottom, so big across, little across, drag it down, it will remember your formula. No, it did not. Why ain't you doing what I want you to? Why ain't you adding? All right. Try that again. Delete. Maybe I don't click them all, just click that guy. There we go. So I've added all the previous's, and I finished with 85. A nice little check. I make my Excel bigger so you can kind of see it. If I highlight all of the frequencies and I hit this auto sum button, which is a summation symbol, I get 85. These two numbers must be the same. If they are not, that's the first sign you've done something wrong. Mine are the same, so that means are good. So I'm going to put in a 60, which would be 81, tab, 83, how am I off? 28, 62, 7, oh, make sure you're lined up correctly, 76, 81, 83, and I'm going to mess up this one, I'll put 84, just so you can see what happens if, how you can fix something. So I think I've got my cumulative frequency. They're supposed to add up to my thing, and as you can see right now, it does not. So I hit check answer, and it says at least one of those is incorrect. The cumulative frequency is the sum of the frequencies for that class and all previous classes. So it gives you a hint, right? So I can check my work. I'm like, oh, I just typed something wrong. And 85, check answer. So you do get a chance. Again, if you're stuck on a problem, so we'll go to the next problem, see what that one is. This is relative frequency. So this is what I was actually trying to do before with StatCrunch when I was messing it up. Again, here's your data set. But again, it's in the wrong things, so StatCrunch is not going to work. StatCrunch is not going to work if you have raw data. This is why I prefer using Excel, because Excel lets you kind of manipulate things. So what you would do is then, again, I can close this. Don't save, because I don't want to keep it open using Excel. And this one I'm not going to do the whole problem, that way you can kind of see how to do it. But a relative frequency is, again, is a percentage. It's a proportion. It's a ratio. All kinds of different words. It's a probability. So I'm going to sum these, because to find relative frequency, you take your total. So I remember type this in here, total. And then that will be your denominator. And then your numerator is your frequency. So equals this number, your frequency, of how often plot error does, divided by total. And now it says round to 1 decimal place as needed. Notice these have percent symbols over here. Therefore, this should be a percent. So if I click on this, it turned into a percent. However, this says round to 1 decimal place. So if I come in Excel, I click over, and now it's in 1 decimal place. And my first answer will be 22.9. Again, you guys write those down. Now, if you want to do the drag technique, these cells can change, but my denomination not change, right? So to lock a cell in Excel, you put $ in front of the letter and the number. On a Mac, you have to hand type them in. On a PC, you can just hit F4, function 4. All right. Oops. But don't click in cells like I just did, because then it just adds to your formula. So do the tap back out, hit enter. All right. Oh, I deleted my 7 by accident. There we go. All right, now you can see I can drag it down, and it automatically changed to the next row, but did not change my denominator. Now, stop, and don't do what I do and keep clicking in cells. Hit enter. So then this next one is 4.2. And then you can continue down, dragging down, and get your answers. All right. If you want to come back to it later, like, oh, I got to go somewhere, I got to save this, you can just click save. It will save my work. You can see I've got part of these done. If I go back to 8, which is the one I was on, it should have kept my numbers in there where I finished. Yes, so it's saved where I was at. So I'm just going to click close. So that's how you do the homeworks. Each one, 1 to 10 questions-ish. And then you can always go back and see your score, so you can continue to improve if you want. All right, so now going into the quiz, you can see I already have started a little bit because I wanted to make sure it works properly. So we go open the quiz. Yours will say start test versus finish test like mine is saying right here, but I'm going to hit finish test. And because I started it, I'm at the question. So on the question help, you notice now all they have is the textbook, StatCrunch, Ask My Instructor. So the problem, the view an example, or help me solve this are now gone in the quizzes. Quizzes are going to be typically 20 questions, so I know it is a lot, but This is how I'm going to do assess your understanding of the material. It was between the homework, the quizzes, and the final. So I want to give 3 different methods to assess so I get a good assessment of you instead of just having one. So here's a test question. Determine whether the sampling method describes below are sound or flawed. Again, this is from chapter 1. I'm going to say it is flawed, just making a guess. Now, I will hit the arrow to go into the next question. Again, don't use my answers because I don't even pay attention to the problem. All right, QQ plot. We'll say it's C. I'm just guessing again. Now, notice the save for later popped up. You have to finish the question you're on before you can hit save. Then you can hit save, and now it's going to warn you when I come back, you can't re-access this question. It's going to take you to question 5. So I'll even show that. So are you sure to yes? All right, and now I go back into it. I can say finish the test. And notice now I'm on question 5. So make sure you answer the question. You see now save's grayed out. I have to give it an answer before save can pop up. All right, so that's how you do the quizzes. And when you're finished, you click submit quiz. I'm going to hit yes, even though I haven't completed it, because I want to show you what you can do here. And now go to the results. So it won't let you view because you have to take it a second time, right? But you can at least say I got the first actually, I guess right on that one, I guess. First 4 questions, I didn't answer question 5, so, and then these are all the ones I didn't do. Go to results, brings you back to your grade book, and I can click review. And so I cannot review until after the due date has passed. Once the due date has passed, you can come in here and learn from your mistakes. The reason I do this, you do get 2 chances, so you'll kind of see the questions you can go review. But if I post the results, the questions in the second attempt of the quiz are exactly the same as the first, right? And then you can just copy it, and I can't tell if you've actually learned any of your any of the material. So that's why you can't review until after you have completed the due date. That way, now you can learn from it for the final. But as you saw, if you kind of write down what the questions are about, and if you missed it, you can go review that topic before you go back in and take it. You can see I've completed 2 of the 10 homeworks, again, because they're not all up yet. Quizzes are 1 of 2 because there's only 2 quizzes posted. But as this fills up, you'll see everything. You can see how many points I've earned and kind of my grade to get an overview of and what my scores are and how long I've spent doing it. All right, so that's how you use the Math Lab to complete your quizzes and your homeworks. The only thing that will be proctored is the final. Make sure you pay attention to the schedule. Don't fall behind. Again, I will have everything open so you can work ahead, because if you're going to have other obligations, I'd rather have you work ahead than fall behind, because in a 6-week course it is hard to catch up, so it's better to work ahead. And if you get stuck, have questions or concerns, please email me. And if you need a quicker response, please text me. All right, good luck with the course, and we will talk throughout. Have a good day.